The ayes have it.
Clause 11 as amended.
Honorable colleagues, I put a question that clause 11 as amended stands as part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. Aye. The ayes have it.
Motion for the House to resume.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Chair, I beg to move a motion that the House resumes and the Committee of the whole House reports thereto.
Honorable colleagues, I put the question that the House do resume and the Committee of the whole House reports thereto. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Report from the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the House has reconsidered the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2026 as returned by His Excellency the President and passed it with amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report for the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2026 as returned by the President be adopted.
Honorable colleagues, I put the question that the report of the Committee of the whole House be adopted. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Bill third reading.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2026, as returned by His Excellency the President, be read for the third time and do pass.
Honorable colleagues, I put the question that the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2026 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled Income Tax Amendment Act 2026.
Honorable colleagues, I want to congratulate you, Honorable Minister, congratulate you, Chair, I congratulate the authors of the minority report for considering this bill. And job well done. Next item. Procedure, Honorable Nsamba.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, whereas the Minister came through, and I want to congratulate you, my friend Honorable Msasi, for having this through, but the critical matter that came in was the use of plastics, Right Honorable Speaker. It is on this. Okay, I'll raise it. Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable.
Yeah, I can see you've been very busy with other work. Now he's the chair Kosasa and Park Central, and I've been seeing him working a lot. Now he's okay. Yes. Next item.
Item 6 on the order paper. Motion for consideration of excise duty amendment bill 2026 as returned by His Excellency the President in accordance with Article 91(3)(b) of the Constitution and Rule 149 of the Rules of Procedure.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker and colleagues, pursuant to Article 91(3)(b) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and Rule 149 of the Parliamentary Rules of Procedure, I beg to move a motion for the reconsideration of the Excise Amendment Bill 2026 as returned by His Excellency the President. I beg to move, Right Honorable Speaker.
Is the motion seconded? Honorable Huda, Honorable Maganda, Honorable Peter Gwang, Honorable Ramirama, Honorable Gilbert Agaba, Honorable Kakul, by majority of the House. Honorable Kefa, Chief Whip. Yes.
And fostering good governance in the public sector. The spirit of government, it's quite a bit, but I'm going to try to summarize what is written in the book so that you can, have your own time to read through it. The spirit of government is established was established under Chapter 13 of the 1995 Constitution, and we trace our origin back in 1986 when it was established as a department within the Office of the President to address corruption, abuse of office, and poor public administration. In 1988, it became a statutory body under the Constitution, under the Inspectorate of Government Statute, and with the promulgation of the 1995 Constitution, the Inspectorate became an independent constitutional institution with an expanded mandate to promote good governance, eliminate corruption and abuse of office, and as well as enforcing the leadership code of conduct and protect citizens against maladministration. Our mandate, briefly, what we are set up to do is to promote and foster strict adherence to the rule of law and principles of natural justice in administration, to eliminate and foster the elimination of corruption, abuse of authority and of public office, to promote fair, efficient and good governance in public offices, to supervise the enforcement of the leadership code of conduct, to investigate any act, omission, advice, decision or recommendation by a public officer or any other authority to which this article applies, taken, made, given or done in exercise of administrative functions, to stimulate public awareness about the values of constitutionalism in general and the effectiveness of this office, in particular through any media or other means it considers appropriate. Honorable Chair and members, you may have noticed that the first and main mandate of the Inspectorate of Government is to promote strict adherence to the rule of law, to ensure that the laws are followed to the letter. We are mostly known for fighting corruption, but that's not our original mandate. The mandate is to ensure that rules, regulations, policies in place are followed, and we know that if this is the case, then there will be less instances of corruption in our society. If you go to page 4, the mandate continues, but I think I've outlined the most important mandate of the Constitution and the powers. Maybe, Honorable Chair, still on page 3, let me go through the powers. The powers of the Constitution of the Inspectorate of Government are provided under Article 30. And in summation is one, we do investigate, we cause investigations into allegations of corruption, maladministration in public offices, abuse of office, abuse of authority, and related offenses. There's a distinction here. Unlike the DPP who relies on police to investigate, the IG has power to investigate. It can cause the arrest out of their investigations and as well do the prosecution. So it's 3 in 1. We then prosecute, then issue orders. We issue orders and directions necessary to prevent further loss or injustice, including the directing the interdiction of public officers or suspension of procurement recruitments or other administrative processes where appropriate. We enter and search premises or property or bank accounts. We summon witnesses and require the production of documents. We recover or cause the recovery of public funds and assets that have been lost, misappropriated or unlawfully acquired. Our jurisdiction, where do we have jurisdiction? In short, every action that requires money from the consolidated fund, we are there. And every government office that is established under the Constitution or other statutes of Parliament, we are there. Government departments, undertakings or services, those are MDAs, statutory bodies or authority, URA, UCD, CM, name them, Cabinet, the Parliament, Court of Laws. We have jurisdiction over Uganda Police, Uganda Prison Services, government-aided school, college, or other institution of learning that assesses public funds, Uganda People's Defense Forces, local defense force, a local government council or local government unit, or a committee of such a council or unit, council, bodies, societies, or committees established by law under the control and regulation of any pension, public commission, etc., as you will see. Honorable Chair and members, we report to Parliament. It's a constitutional mandate. We report to you. Under Article 231 of the Constitution, on page 5, we are required, the Inspectorate of Government is required to submit to Parliament at least once in every 6 months a report on the performance of its functions, making such recommendations as it considers necessary and containing such information as Parliament may require. Under Article 231, the Speaker is required to lay before Parliament the report submitted by the Inspectorate of Government within 30 days after it has been submitted to Parliament in the session, or if Parliament is not in session, within 30 days after the commencement of its next session. Our vision, mission, and strategic objectives are laid down. Our vision is for just and corruption-free Uganda. Our mission is to promote good governance through prevention of corruption, enforcement of the rule of law, and citizens' engagement. Honorable Chair and members, the strategic objectives are listed. I will request that you look at them. Now, the organogram, the institutional structure on page 6. The Inspectorate of Government is headed by the Inspector General of Government and the 2 deputies, myself and Dr. Patricia. We are appointed by the President of Uganda, and we have directorates. Then we have the Inspectorate of Government, the Secretary to the Inspectorate, who is the Permanent Secretary and Accounting Officer, who is also appointed by the President. We have directorates.
Het avondeten. Dat is de belangrijkste meeting van de dag. Want elke avond verdient een groen sausje, nietwaar? Telefoons aan de kant, vorken in de hand. De slappe lach, luid slurpen mag. Alles bespreken en alles opeten. Het avondeten voor elkaar. Met HelloFresh.
Role, Director of Anti-Corruption, Directorate of Project and Risk Monitoring and Control, Directorate of Research education and advocacy, and other supportive divisions. We have 16 regional offices across the country. We have presence in Arua, takes the whole of that region, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Kabale, Kampala, Lira, Masaka, Mbale, Mbara, Moroto, Moyo, Mukono, Soroti, and Tororo. The role. We have 4, I highlighted, Honorable Chair and members, our mandate, and you notice that we have over 8 functional areas. However, we have 4 main functions that the Constitution provides and where we put a lot of effort. The Ombudsman role. Now, an Ombudsman is a person that is appointed by government to be a link between the citizens and the public, who ensures that services reach the citizenry timely, efficiently, and effectively. The National Ombudsman is the Inspector General of Government. The Ombudsman is also a public protector, ensures that the public, the citizens, are protected from excessive force or actions by the duty bearers. Many times people think that our role is only to fight corruption, but the main role is the Ombudsman function, to ensure that services reach the citizens timely, but also ensure that we protect the citizens from misuse of public power from government officials. Then we also go into offices to ensure that there's seamless, working relationship between officers in government. You may have noticed, Honorable Chair and members, that lately there's a lot of infighting in government offices, and the marketplace has lately become don't work with each other harmoniously, and this affects service delivery. So the Ombudsman comes in, sits them down, does alternative dispute resolution mechanisms through mediation to ensure that service delivery is not affected. And also to ensure that there are system studies where there are repeated actions to ensure that we are able to get to the root cause of the infighting and resolve that. So that is a very important role that the Inspectorate of Government does. We hold boardroom sessions to ensure that citizens, public officials are called to act, are called to account for their actions or misactions. We've had these in Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Uganda Police, Uganda Cancer Institute, where we have had a lot of effect through these, sitting on the table and solving these issues that arise. Systemic studies to identify failures, and we have recommended corrective actions, and we have advised government on administrative and institutional reforms. We conduct spot checks on service delivery. We have been to NERA, we have been to schools, we have seen us in hospitals and roads, construction sites to do impromptu spot checks to see how things are going. And in the past 2 years, I'm on page 8, at least the Ombudsman intervention has ensured that 490 officers were dismissed from service. We have ensured that 80 officers were interdicted from office, and we have recovered over 13 billion shillings. The anti-corruption role is also our second mandate, main mandate. We undertake preventive and enforcement approaches. In prevention, we have come up with the mainstreaming of the transparency, accountability, and anti-corruption mechanisms across all ministries, departments, agencies, and local governments as required under the 4th National Development Plan. The aim is to enhance participation of MDAs and local governments in the fight against corruption and maladministration to prevent and detect corruption. We monitor projects, we conduct spot checks, as I have emphasized, under this prevention mandate under the anti-corruption role. We also conduct research studies on corruption risks and making appropriate recommendations for policy and administrative changes. Some of the studies you may be aware of are the cost of corruption, our report, our 2021 report, corruption in recruitment by district service commissions, where we have made recommendations to government, and at a later date I'm going to highlight some of the challenges where you, the members of parliament, can come in to support us. Cost-benefit analysis of outsourcing private recruitment firms by private agencies. These are some of the researches that we have done. Enforcement on page 9, investigation of cases of corruption, abuse of authority. We have conducted arrests, we have prosecuted, we have made administrative sanction. The suspect may face disciplinary action, including dismissal from service. We have recovered colossal sums of money. Over the last 3 years, the IG has investigated and successfully arrested and prosecuted 203 officers, and we have recovered over 38 billion shillings. Enforcement of the Leadership Code of Conduct. The role is provided under Article 225 of the Constitution. The Leadership Code of Conduct seeks to ensure that leaders maintain the highest standard of integrity, accountability, and ethical conduct. Under this role, you will have to declare your incomes, assets, and liabilities. And the number of actions we have taken, honorable members, are listed on page 9. On page 10, we also conduct some of the sanctions of the Leadership Code of Conduct include fines, demotion, removal from office, confiscation of undeclared assets, and disqualification from public office for the next 5 years. Public education and awareness is one of our major mandates. We ensure the mandate here ensures to stimulate public awareness about the values of constitutionalism, integrity, and the work in the institutions. We aim at changing behavior and mindset, strengthening ethical values, promoting a culture of integrity, which becomes the norm rather than the exception. And in a short while, I'm going to show you one of the challenges that we would require you to support us. And here we have listed how this public education and awareness is conducted. It's through establishing youth integrity ambassadors clubs in schools, universities, and other institutions of higher learning. We indicate where we have done this. We are on radio talk shows. We conduct barazas, stakeholder engagements with civil society organizations, religious and cultural leaders, developing and disseminating educational materials. As those are some of the things that we have done. Our strategic priorities for the Inspectorate of Government for the financial year 2026 to 2027 include institutionalized, intelligence-led, and prosecution-driven investigations. We intend to deploy AI-powered leadership code verification systems to scale up asset tracing and recovery mechanisms, implement a transformative anti-corruption education and behavior change program for the citizens, mainstream transparency, accountability, and anti-corruption across MDAs and local governments, enhance enforcement and compliance monitoring of IG recommendations, build specialized human capital to handle complex corruption cases, strengthen ombudsman and administrative justice mechanisms, operationalize a result-based M&E performance management framework. Honorable Chair, I'm now going to request the Inspectorate of Government to give highlights on the financials that are here, and then I will come back with the challenges that we face.
Yeah, that's fine. You can proceed that one.
Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair and members, the Inspectorate of Government budget has grown steadily over the last 3 years, and this shows government commitment to strengthening the institution's capacity to exercise its mandate. And this has been largely driven by increased allocation for development and non-wage expenditure to support one, and this is mainly for the current financial year, procurement of vehicles. We've had a very old fleet of vehicles. Over 75% of the vehicles are over 10 to 15 years. So government has come in to support us there. We are going to procure investigative equipment. We are investing in ICT and other operation activities. And the summary is indicated on page 11. Honorable Chair, allow me not to go through that. The members can look at it. But what I can summarize is that the overall budget has increased by 29.42% from 74.92 billion in financial year 2024-25 to 96.96 billion in 2025-26-27. The wage has increased marginally by 2.42%, and my principal here will highlight it as one of the issues that we are raising for you members, chairperson and members. Government of Uganda development has increased by 94.98%. Largely, this is attributed to funding for the construction of the head office. Members, you can see it on Yusuf Toulay Road. We are about to finish it. Procurement of vehicles and establishment of ICT infrastructure. The major cost drivers for this financial year are 5 areas, and these amount to 75.58 billion, representing approximately 78% of the institution's total budget. These allocations cover mainly staff costs, completion of the new office, and the investments aimed at strengthening institutional capacity and improving service delivery. And these are reflected in the table below. However, Honorable Chair and members, despite this apparent increment in the budget allocation, critical funding gaps remain in key strategic areas, mainly mainstreaming of transparency, accountability, and anti-corruption, because this is a new initiative. Then implementing the Inspectorate's digital transformation agenda. This also came on board from last year, but token of funds were given to the Inspectorate. Investigating and conducting high-impact corruption cases. This is increasing, and Chairperson and members, you are aware that there are a number of high-impact cases that are now on table, and these cost between 50 to almost 100 million per case. And another area is we need to engage experts to strengthen investigations in areas of complex corruption. For example, you see now the IG is investigating this road, the express highway, and we don't have engineers, so we rely on other institutions to do those complex and specialized investigations. So those are the areas that are driving the budget, but which areas we'll come back to you where we need support. In addition to what I have highlighted, Government of Uganda and the Ministry of Finance provided some off-budget support through the World Bank over a 5-year period to implement TAC under the Northern Uganda Social Action Fund, known popularly as NUSA 4, is a program that is coming on board, and the development response to displacement impacts, popularly known as Dr. Deep 2. This funding is going to come to us this financial year if all goes well. So under this, the Inspectorate will receive $1,317,344 US to implement these interventions under the 2 projects. as summarized in the table below. We also have ongoing projects and initiatives, and the biggest is the construction of the the Inspectorate of Government Head Office. And below the table on page 13, we provide a summary of the status of the Inspectorate of Government Head Office construction project. We are at around 94% now, as opposed to where we wanted to be at 95%. So within the next month, I think this month, we should be there. We also, on page 15, we came up with the Digital Transformation Initiative. This is not only an initiative of the Inspectorate of Government, but it's also a government-wide initiative. So the Inspectorate of Government has embarked on a digital transformation program to digitize and automate its systems and business processes. The program is intended to enhance operational efficiency, improve service delivery, strengthen institutional accountability, and increase the IG's capacity to effectively deliver on its mandate. The total estimated cost of the program is 37 billion. However, in financial year 2025-26, the IG received only 3.7 billion, which we utilized to procure critical ICT equipment, including servers, computers, laptops, scanners, and we strengthened the infrastructure at head office and 16 regional offices. You can now be at head office and get in touch with the regional offices directly, which was not the case before. The funds also supported the procurement of ICT consultancy services for the digitization of manual records, and almost 99% of our records, especially administration and on semi-active cases, are now digitized. Despite this process, Honorable Chair and members, significant investments are still required to complete this program. And this includes procuring additional ICT equipment so as to establish a fully integrated ICT structure, especially at head office and regional offices. We need to complete the digitization of all our records, including incoming cases, and automate all our core business processes and integrate the IG system.
Hey, waarom is het sailbootspul stuk stil? Omdat ze de beste beddengoedmerken.
Facilitate secure and seamless data exchange across government. At the current annual funding of 3.7 billion, implementation of the program would be prolonged. As you realize that we require 37 billion and we have only got 3.7 billion. So this will increase the risk of technology obsolescence, whereby ICT infrastructure and systems during the early phases may require replacement and upgrading before the program is fully implemented. And this will result in higher overall costs and reduced value for money. Honorable member, the chair and members, this is an area where the IG will need a lot of your support. So we request kindly for Parliament to provide additional funding to accelerate the implementation of this program so that we complete it within at most 3 years.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and members. Allow me just a few minutes to highlight the challenges where we really need your support as Parliament to be able to implement our mandate efficiently. You may have noticed, Honorable Members and Chair, Honorable Members and Chair, that there is increasing apathy, public apathy against the fight against corruption, against efforts to fight corruption. The public that we have today glorifies the corrupt. They are indifferent about the efforts that the institutions that are set up to fight corruption have undertaken. You will notice, my honorable members, since you live in the same society like all of us, that the public is always willing to glorify the corrupt. Actually, there's a study that was conducted by Afrobarometer, and it's noted that over 83% of Ugandans believe that citizens who report corruption risk retaliation. Others believe that corruption has now become the way of life, and they are therefore not, they're indifferent about joining the fight. This kind of perception, Honorable Chair and members, has weakened public confidence in the institution of the Inspectorate of Government and other like institutions that fight corruption. It has reduced citizen participation, and it diminishes the effectiveness of anti-corruption interventions. We find that any intervention by us, they will now ask, how about you have not arrested so and so? If you arrest this member of parliament, they say, how come you haven't gone for this member of parliament? There's hardly any appreciation from what action that the government takes. And we hope that parliament can provide more funding for behavior and mindset change initiatives, be willing to support these initiatives, civic education, nationwide public awareness programs to address negative societal norms, but even most importantly, because you're members of parliament, you meet quite a number of our citizens. We request that you be our forerunners in this fight. Please talk to them.
Let's have that mic off. There's a mic on. There's a mic which is on.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable members, we kindly implore you to give confidence to the citizens, to your voters, because this is our government, this is our society. You have to give them the confidence that it is possible to fight corruption, that it is possible to win this war. So we're counting on your moral support more than even the financial, because this mindset change initiative that we want to create in our citizenry can only be won if everybody is on board, if everybody appreciates that a corruption-free society is possible, and that it will help us as a country to promote development. Mobilize them, encourage them, don't castigate us where it is not necessary by demoralizing the public that it's not possible, that the IG or the Inspectorate of Government is doing less. Please encourage them to report as much as they can, give them the confidence, and you can, given your influence, follow up on some of these issues to ensure that they are handled.
Thank you.
Another challenge that we have are gaps in the anti-corruption legal framework. And one of them is lack of non-conviction-based asset recovery law. In Uganda, we have no comprehensive provision in the law that authorizes non-conviction-based asset forfeiture, which is a barrier to implementation of asset recovery in cases where prosecution lacks evidence to sustain conviction. Honorable Chair and members, for you to get a conviction in the courts of law, the evidence that you adduced must be beyond reasonable doubt. So in some cases, we don't have the evidence to meet this standard. However, we are sure that there was a crime that was committed. So many times we rely on the goodwill of the suspects to surrender their property. But if we had a law in place that provides that alternative, it will go a long way in supporting our actions in fighting corruption. Number two is lack of incentive to whistleblowers who prevent loss from occurring. Under the Whistleblowers Act, honorable members, you get 5% of the money that has been recovered. But if somebody reports and money is not stolen or embezzled, then they don't get any refund. They don't get this 5%. So the law intends to say that money has to first be stolen for you to get the 5%. That's, it's very ironical, because we have members of society who come and report and we're able to prevent a loss. And then they come back and say, give us the 5%. But we don't have where to get this money from, because it is unless we recover that we get 5% from that money that is recovered. So this is something that should be urgent for all of us to address. Number 3, lack of witness.
Chair, I'm looking at procedure. Yes, I'm looking at the time, and I would have bestowed you, Chair, with your wisdom, that since we have the document, that the Deputy Attorney IGG summarizes, such that then we can be able to engage, because otherwise,
yes, I
there's
think
no time.
We are pressed for time. Please
Procedure.
summarize. Thank you.
Procedure.
Welcome.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to know whether we are the Deputy IGG, the paper she has presented to us, is actually her own making, because it is not signed and Parliament is a place of record. For that matter, I want us to understand whether this is her document, and if yes, she can put it on record so that for future reference we can have this on well documented. I thank you.
Onto that.
Thank you so much. Honorable Chair, first to the Honorable member that talked about time, I kindly request that you bear with us, because this is where we need your support most on the challenges. It's important that we air them out, if you may, please. And then secondly, I was not aware that we had to, provide an official document, but this is something that we can sign and it's on record. There's no problem about that. We'll do that, right, Honor.
Please, you had indicated that you make summaries. Please try as much as possible. Thank you.
Okay, must oblige, Honorable Chair. Honorable members, the witness protection, we need to protect witnesses. We need a law in place. Non-categorization of IG officers as authorized officers under the Anti-Corruption Money Laundering Act. The categorized officers include the DPP, the chair and the ED and deputy of the finance of FIA, Financial Intelligence Authority, and we are not one of the categorized officers. So you find that we cannot conduct some activities. You've also noted that there's a lot of outcry, public outcry with the district service commissions. You find that local governments, the role of the district service commission was totally decentralized, which gives a lot of powers to the politicians. And since I'm talking to the politicians, you well know that sometimes we have interests in who gets to these district service commissions at local government, and no wonder we have a lot of discrepancies when it comes to appointments and disciplinary actions. We require, therefore, Parliament to support the review of the existing laws and enact the relevant laws to fight corruption. Lack of designated funding for the transparency, accountability, and anti-corruption rollout. We request that you support this initiative so that we mainstream this transparency and accountability mechanisms to enable the Inspectorate of Government to coordinate implementation across MDAs and local governments. So another challenge is failure to table and discuss the IG reports to Parliament. Earlier on, I alluded to the fact that we have a constitutional mandate to biannually table these reports to Parliament, but Honorable Chair and members, you note that there hasn't been discussion of our reports, so we request Parliament to call upon us to discuss performance reports to Parliament within the time frame that is stipulated in the Constitution. We have an inadequate staff skills to respond to the emerging corruption forms that are developing. I think the PS alluded to that. And we require Parliament to provide funds to enable the Inspectorate of Government to recruit and retain specialized professionals, strengthen regional operations, and improve service delivery. In conclusion, Honorable Chair and members, I want to assure you that the Inspectorate of Government remains committed to working with Parliament, government institutions, accountability agencies, civil society, the private sector, and citizens to combat maladministration and corruption in Uganda. We appreciate the opportunity to be here and interact with you and receive valuable input and guidance from you. For God and my country.
Thank you so much, IGG, for that great insight. I think it's a lot of information for members to process. I can see time is a very big challenge. I think as we have done in the previous engagement, we may also have to invite you again. I can foresee that. But I want to allow members really to chip in with a few questions. Maybe those questions will be answered later. But before I do that, I know that the energy level is very low. We have something on the side there. Feel free to get something for yourself as we continue the engagement. Just before I allow Honorable Nalukola to say something, let me just say this. Most of this, we have a number of new members. I think later when you get time to respond, talk about declarations. I know that we have staff who are in charge of that, but I think now that you're here, it would be good for our members to also hear about that. Yes, please, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The IGG, on July 31st, 2026, the Inspectorate issued an administrative directive ordering the clerk to Parliament to immediately interdict 7 senior parliamentary officials. Given that these individuals had already been arraigned before court and indeed remanded, these are the questions. 1, how does the IGG reconcile this belated administrative directive with the court's existing jurisdiction? They are already in court, they are remanded, but again, the IGG is directing the clerk to Parliament to interdict them. How do you reconcile the jurisdiction of court and then the directive from IGG? 2, why didn't IGG let the judiciary handle the suspension parameters via formal means, say, bail conditions, in case any is granted to the accused persons? 3, isn't it true that this administrative intervention borders along violating sub judice rule? That you are already in court, but again, there are some steps which are being made. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, isn't it true that the position of administrative law and the public standing orders is to the effect that powers to interdict are vested within that particular institution, not the IGG or any other investigating officer? I'm talking about administrative powers. The IGG wants to see Uganda being administered perfectly well, normal administration. Isn't it true that your intervention is causing maladministration? I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, thank you so much, Honorable. Before I allow the next person, I think in the interest of time, let us agree. I know that I'll give more, maybe for the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs will probably allow you to go to 3, but let's not go beyond 3 at worst. 2 questions, then you can submit other questions later through the clerk, because I know that we are going to be caught up by time. Let's allow everyone to have a chance.
Chair.
Thank
the
you.
Congress lady has just left and she delegated me for some few minutes to act as a congressman.
Have you relinquished your
Chair, thank you.
ministry?
Without wasting a lot of time, kindly confirm to us whether this building now is at the occupation stage, because it had been anticipated to be completed by June 2026. And also confirm to us, because we can see around two descriptions of the land in the same, where it is indicated Clement Hill and Yusuf Ray. Does it cut across the two roads? Oh, it is only on Yusuf Road. That is 3, Honorable Chair. The previous reports have been reporting that they have been recovering. That the money stolen is in the tune of 1 trillion. And when you look at the rate of the recovery which is being done, at 38 billion, I think it is, they are jokers. Maybe I have used the wrong word, but maybe they are still crawling. They are at the crawling stage. And lastly, how do you feel, Madam Deputy IGG, when we have State House and corruption, when we have maybe you have sanctioned the president to assign these offices that you cannot reach each and everywhere on time. That's why these offices are coming in. Otherwise, if you were doing everything on spot, there's no reason why they would be.
Your point is made.
Lastly, Chair, lastly.
Lastly, twice.
Madam Deputy IGG, you are supposed to operate independently. There is an initiative which was made to do the investigations via the statuses of the public officials. That is what they call what? You follow a person via their statuses and the incomes, the lifestyle audit. And there is somewhere where you had initiated that you can also go and investigate what is happening in UPDF and the army officials. And somebody stopped you. And up to now, there is nothing going on. Are you still operating independently?
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Please, next, let's follow that order.
Thank you very much, Chair.
3 questions, please.
Yes, I have seen the challenges that have been raised by the IGG, and some of these issues are rising for lack of what we call the laws. Now, I want to ask the IGG, under the Anti-Money Laundering Act, Cap 118, it seems there is a problem. How do you intend to resolve that problem, especially regarding your office? It investigates, it prosecutes, but it cannot do recoveries. And don't you think that even if we were to go via civil, you can use the civil proceedings after maybe conviction, and you acquire such properties or proceeds of crime? Also, there seems to be a public outcry on the services, and we are seeing Baram coming and taking over your work. As the IGG, don't you feel that this is an indictment to you? Because public officers are being interdicted by the minister. Don't you have officers in those areas? Because under the Constitution and under the law, you were the one who is mandated to do the work that Honorable Minister Baram is doing. Should we assume that you have abdicated the role and we bring your office and we go and give it to the local government to be the one Baram to do the work? The third one, we know you are working, that you are telling us there is no money. Our role is to help you. But you can't be helped if you have not come to us. What are you doing regarding the budgetary, especially the budgetary misallocations, and I may term it that way? Because when you see regions, you have a lot of officers in regions. Some of the offices, when you go there, to your offices, they lack the basic things. I might attribute it to lack of funds, maybe. And this is the IGG. As public officers here, we know you are mandated to come and tell us how we can declare. Can you have an officer to come to these members? I know we have an office here around here, because some of the members don't understand. Maybe allocate 1 or 3 officers. I myself have not declared. I don't know how the procedure works, but I now will declare maybe on the rest of the day. But can you do something out of it?
Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, IGG.
Thank you. Maybe before I go back there, I had left Honorable behind. Let him come in.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There is a term which has always sunk in the mind of the people. And these are 2 terms, small fish and big fish. They always tell us that IGG only catches small fish. Can you please tell us, is that true? And also update us on how far you've gone with the big fish.
Cohen, let us wait for...
2, it appears that most of the investigations done by IGG comes into action after someone has talked about the point. For example, when a comment comes that there is corruption, for example, when the president says something, that's when you see IGG coming into action. Is that the trend, or for how long shall we say that indeed we are seeing the independence of IGG? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Champion.
Campagna Abdu Swaibu. My concern is because you're here to help you execute your mandate, and I'm interested in knowing the cases you deal with. As my brother has talked of big fish and small fish, you realize that you are faced with people who are involved in these corruption scandals, who are very powerful in this country. May I know, because you normally appear here, talk about budget, about your security. Could it be one of the things hindering you from executing your mandate because you are afraid of executing it, that you fear the consequences after following up these people? Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was very brief. And yes, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Chair. For the record, Peter Dekwe Dopu is my name, MP for Dakabela County in Soroti District. My concern is with the powers of the IGG. IGG is one of the institutions which has too much powers. And because of having those too much powers, it has now failed to be able to manage them, to execute them. That's why other agencies have been administratively appointed by His Excellency the President. Now, IGG again wants to get more powers, especially when it comes to anti-money laundering, because we have an agency which is responsible, the Financial Intelligence Authority. If you have a case, you can refer to that office to handle that case. If you have an anti-money laundering case, instead of you wanting that power, when you have even failed to manage the ones that you have, I have to confess that I am partly responsible, because the laws that you have, we were 3 people who drafted those laws. The Leadership Code Act and then the Inspector of Government Act, plus others, when we did the review and then gave you a lot of powers that you have now. But now those powers, you again want more when there are agencies which have been created since then to handle that. Why? Because handle efficiently what you are supposed to do first. Secondly, you seem to be, you selectively choose cases, which ones to handle. Last week we had the Uganda Human Rights Commission here, and they claimed that they had put their case to you, You appointed 2 officers, I think, in February. Up to now, they have not come back to handle the case, and the institution is in crisis. Why haven't you failed to handle the case of the Uganda Human Rights Commission?
Thank you so much. Right behind you is the substantive chair. Please, you're welcome.
This complaint, simply tell them that this matter cannot proceed for reasons ABC. I appreciate Mr. Cassidy. He has reached out to me after hearing Miller mention on radio that in 2023, as Kamuli District, we complained after having a lot of issues in the local government. And when we complained, after about 6 months, there was no response. Luckily enough, when you appeared in this committee, I raised those concerns. And I was told, please, we are sorry, share with us the complaint you made. And we raised the complaint. We forwarded the complaint to your office. We even had an acknowledgement of receipt. We never heard from you then. Subsequently, the issues in local governments were escalating. And as a result, the anti-corruption unit of State House came, followed up the mess that had been in the road section, and arrested the district engineer, and actually he was charged. When we raised this concern, again, Mr. Kasi reached out to me and said, please raise that, share us with a copy of that complaint again. I didn't want to be rude, but I found it so casual and joking. I kept postponing, I'll bring, because I didn't want to be rude with him. He could be innocent. What we needed at the time is a simple communication that you do not have any merit in this complaint, we cannot do anything. But when you keep silent, you better the efforts of even those who have genuine concerns that they are raising to your office. And it's against that purpose that I have to accuse myself of chairing this session because I want to raise this matter without bias. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Chair. Please go ahead, Honorable Secretary.
Chair. I have 2 issues related to your role on page 8 and under anti-corruption role. How is the IGG collaborating with other accountability institutions to reduce duplication in the fight against corruption? Then, as the chair has said, you know there is a lot of corruption in local governments. I want to know the steps as IG you are taking to reduce, to make sure you prevent corruption in local governments.
Please, who is next? Oh, yes.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is a quick one, and since I am near, I think you will start with mine. Honorable Peter has just alluded to the fact that you have too much powers, and we have considered the opinion that you are underutilizing these powers. And when we go to page 4 of your presentation, you've listed all the institutions that are under your docket of supervision. And you told us that you can prosecute, investigate, and almost do everything. So what happens when you come to issues of conviction? Do you do it yourselves, or do you do it with the help of the court system or judicial system? And if you use the court system or judiciary for that matter, what happens if you are investigating the courts themselves? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I want first of all to apologize for coming late. I was chairing Committee of National Economy, And this colliding of things has really been a challenge. But to thank the Deputy IG and congratulate you for being reappointed to that position again. I've been in this committee, this is my 18th year as a member of this committee, and I love it being here. And I've seen the institution go up and down, through many people, the Faith Monda and others. But thank you for the progress you have made in building your own home. One thing which I had, and you know, Chair, you know this, we have asked always the IGG. In whatever you request, I'm referring to page 15, where you talked about the outlay of the 37 billion. One thing we have insisted is that in requesting for block money, it's always difficult to get. But we have requested you a few times to give us your sequencing of activities. The sequencing of activities, this year one, this year we are focusing on this and this so much. The year two, we are focusing on this according to your work plan. But right now, we need this because of this, and we cannot proceed because of this. Now, when you request for 37 billion at once, nobody is going to give it to you unless we see a justification, how it fits in what you are, how it fits in what else you are doing, whether it is digitization, whether it is furnishing the office because you want to move there, whether you say maybe you don't have furniture at all, you want to go into a new office with new furniture, or there is no furniture at all. So I think that sequencing, if you give a sequencing in terms of your budget, it would help you to kind of justify why you need that money. On page 16 on the challenges of gaps in anti-corruption legal framework, we are the committee to receive those bills. But I think you are talking to the different persons. You should talk to the executive. We don't originate bills unless we make private members' bills. What effort have you done, advanced in terms of convincing the executive to bring a law on non-conviction-based asset recovery law or on witness protection? Or is there a bill at all? What have you done? Because once it comes to us, then we can process it. It is actually, it should be pointing to the other side, not to us. But we're ready to support you. And lastly, I looked at your structure. There is a page where you have a structure. Page 6. I'm very curious. There is on that line under Directorate of Leadership, and towards the end, there is Directorate of Project Risk Monitoring and Control. What kind of work does that directorate do? Is it project risk monitoring of projects within your institution or of government? And if it is of government, did you have any information on this Busega Expressway before the President nudged you to investigate this? We have never heard about this risk monitoring and your work of risk monitoring. What does it do? Is it in-house for your own things, or it is focused on the projects that are cutting across?
I can see it's time for plenary, and we may not be able to get into all the responses, but thank you so much for raising those pertinent questions. I think let me invite the IGG to we'll have to find time. We'll speak to the clerk maybe and bring you back, or we get a written response. But you could make your closing remarks, and then we close this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members, and the honorable chair for raising these concerns. We have taken note. There are quite a number. I thought my colleagues would be given an opportunity to answer. But in the interest of time, as the chair has guided, we may not, but maybe just to scan through what I recall being asked. There's been a question alluding to our loss of confidence or having too much power and we're not biting. First, I want to applaud all the efforts from all the stakeholders, the executive, the parliament, in the effort to fight corruption. Like we have continuously stated, it cannot be a one-man effort. Everybody is welcome. We applaud the Ministry of Local Government for joining us in the fight against corruption, but maybe also to say that maybe we need to be also more careful. And if we were not here, the Inspectorate of Government had been invited to attend a function at local government where would have raised this. The honorable ministers of local government, I think we need to be very careful on how we conduct this business, because we risk. We need to be careful as we tread. How we tread the anti-corruption fight, because we risk unnecessary suits in civil, because the ministers don't have powers to interdict. Just like the IG, we order the responsible officers. So if you are at a rally and you publicly order for interdiction, I think it may have some legal implications. I believe it may have legal implications going forward. So it's a discussion that we're going to have today, but of course Parliament takes precedence over other invitations. And then also maybe to emphasize that we are the custodians of the law requires us to ensure that there's strict adherence to the rule of law and principles of natural justice in administration. So you wouldn't expect the IG to be in public arresting people without first conducting thorough investigations, because when these go to court, we're supposed to, good governance denotes fairness. Good governance denotes fairness. It denotes, natural justice. You have to hear the other side and then come to a decision. So if we go to the public and we do what everyone else does, then we will be caught on the wrong side of the law, and yet we're the ones supposed to ensure that public officers don't abuse their powers or follow the law. So many times you will not see us in the cameras arresting people, but I want to assure you, honorable members, we are doing much more than you see. We are doing, but we cannot act in the camera because of the restrictions under the law. The other day when I was addressing cabinet in Chankwazi, the first person who asked me a question was the Right Honorable Prime Minister. We had arrested OPM officials, and I think they were in the press, and she was saying, why is IGG acting in the press? I thought we would applaud us for being transparent and bringing our investigations in the press. So we cannot act the way the public would want us to act by showing you what we are doing, but I can assure you that we do much more behind the scenes. We don't necessarily first get orders from the president to act. Number of cases that we have done without the president's intervention, but the president is the CEO of the country, so if he points at something, we certainly give it the attention that it deserves. There are so many people, anti-corruption bodies. Somebody asked that, and we too many. There can never be enough. You know that corruption in our country has grown. So we need as much support as we can from the different sectors. And we are under the Interagency Forum. We have a body that unites us under the Directorate of Ethics and Integrity, where we are coordinated. For instance, if police is investigating a matter, you'll not find IG there. If State House Anti-Corruption Unit is investigating a matter, we will not be there. So we're better coordinated, and with this kind of coordination, we will be able to reduce the instances of corruption.
To conclude, recognizing that without violating sub judice, we would also need to know where the issue that is going on with our former speaker, where has that reached? We don't want to speculate. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members. The investigations are still ongoing. Thank you for your support, because Parliament, I thought the director legal, if you have a second, she can answer why we had to interdict, we had to order their interdiction of a crystal ball. And you want big fish, those are some of the big fish of Parliament that we've taken on. So we're still investigating, more big fish are coming, just keep waiting. Director, if you could in a second explain.
I think that's important, let's hear that.
Why would we interdicted these people? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members, and Honorable Nalukola. I would like to draw your attention to Article 230, Clause 2. The Inspector General of Government may, during the course of his or her duties or as a consequence of his or her findings, make such orders and give such directions as are necessary and appropriate in the circumstances. Honorable members, when someone has criminal charges against them, it's in public interest that they should not be in office. And as my team leader has clarified, the Inspectorate of Government recommends. We do not interdict, but we recommend. So there is no contradiction in the law here. We made a recommendation because these members had been arraigned before court and they could not stay in office thereafter. The other thing I would like to clarify, honorable members. Yes, I was coming.
And the principle of sub judice.
I am coming there. I would like also to clarify that, sorry, I lost my train of thought, but
That's
thank you. I would like to clarify that, yes, those are bailable offenses, and they are before court, yes, the court can grant them bail as and when, they apply for it. So those are bailable offenses, they can be out, but public interest demands that they should not be in office while there are criminal matters pending against them. So there is no contradiction in the law there.
Thank you. You can please conclude. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's important. Honorable, I need to also refer you to Section 14 of the Inspectorate of Government Act. The Inspector General of Government. The Inspector General of Government may, during the course of his or her duties or as a consequence of his or her findings, make such orders and give such directions are unnecessary and appropriate in the circumstances. So that's why you see us ordering for interdictions of public officers as we conduct investigations to avoid any interference with the investigation. So we have the powers to order for public officers. We order responsible officers. We don't do it ourselves. We order the PS, we order the accounting officers, whoever the law provides as a responsible officer is ordered to conduct the interdiction. Thank you. Honorable Chair and members, in my concluding remarks, I want to thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to appear with you and interact with you. And we have learned so much from you. We are doing so much, but I know that we can still do much more to ensure that we deliver our mandate as expected of us. Please continue to encourage the citizens to believe in the Inspectorate of Government, encourage the citizens to report their cases to us because I can assure you that we are on the correct trajectory to end corruption in Uganda. I thank you so much. The big and small fish, I can answer that.
No, that specifically I was saying that the investigations
declaration
are
of
taken
MPs?
wrong. You either charge or discontinue, so that we know the fate.
I beg your pardon?
That bigger fish.
Which one in
The
particular?
investigations have taken so long.
Honorable Chair and members, you asked a question you did not declare, your assets, incomes and liabilities. Very soon the law may get you on the wrong side, so I want to encourage you to please declare because declaration is one of the statutory directive, and we have had a member of parliament in the past lose their seat because they didn't declare. I don't want that to be part of, you to be part of the victim in that respect. So, Honorable Chair and members, we brought you these documents. and allow me to use this opportunity to hand them over to you. These are some of our reports. Corruption in the recruitment in the District Service Commission. I encourage you to have this information, which will help you as you address your constituents. And also we brought you a copy of our 2025 July to December 2025 reports for your information. I thank you very much.
Yes, I think let's let's clap for this for IGG, and thank you so much for. I know time was a problem. I believe we shall invite you back. Thank you so much for the insight. Members, I'm aware that plenary may have even started, so this meeting is adjourned to tomorrow. Tomorrow we shall be having a Uganda Law Reform Commission at 11 a.m., LDC, and Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Please, let's keep time tomorrow. Yes. Can remain and we do an in-house, please. We won't say that before our guests. Thank you. Let's stay behind members. Narukola.